We're here for our next live talk given by Thomas McCarthy, and well, you can join us to delve into the latest trends shaping life sciences manufacturing, and you get to gain insights into the industry's current landscape, emphasizing the evolving ecosystem comprising license holders, contract manufacturers, contract research organizations, and equipment providers. And you'll get to discover how the digitalization of data accelerates time to market and enhances supply chain reliability, paving the way for industry advancements. And now please put your hands together and welcome Thomas McCarthy.
Hello, everyone. As my introducer said, my name is Tom McCarthy. I'm the industry principal for life sciences from Aviva. I want to talk a little bit today about the evolving connected ecosystem in life sciences, where the drivers for this kind of exciting challenge comes from, and kind of what current practices are, and kind of doing a little bit of Imagineering with you. So with that, start the conversation with the most important business process in life sciences, basically that of drug development. So there are kind of three key facts when we talk about drug development. The first fact really is, you've got a period like what we call IND, and that's all about research. That's pure research, that's science, that's laboratories, beakers, etc., things of that sort. You do a lot of research trying to find new compounds for disease candidates. And once you think you've got something, a company will basically file this IND application with the regulatory bodies, FDA, EMA, as many as every country pretty much has one of these kind of organizations. And at that point, the clock starts ticking. From the period that the IND is filed and accepted by the agencies, you basically have 20 years to make back any money, any investment that you've made in that product. So that's kind of key fact number one, that it basically 20 years from the period of the IND application until patent expires. When a patent expires, essentially all of the profitability of the drug kind of comes out of it. So, the expectation is you're going to lose about 90% of the market, or the retail price, if you will, in the drug in about 6 months. So at that point, you start getting generic competition, and it becomes fairly much more difficult from a money generation perspective. Fact number two, most drugs actually, once they get to the IND application, don't actually ever make it to commercialization. They fail somewhere in this process. On the order of 99 out of 100 will fail. So it's a very risky endeavor, and it will take. The other kind of key fact is that process, if you will take somewhere somewhere around 8 to 10 years until it actually gets reviewed by the agencies again, and they give permission to do this. So all in all, it's a very risky endeavor. It takes a lot of time, and the payback is out here someplace in what's called typically phase 4 or commercial manufacturing. So a modern drug will take about $2 billion to bring to market. So with all of that said, we would start to look at, that's kind of the basics of the economics of the drug development process. This slide kind of shows the life sciences value chain with different kinds of research organizations, equipment suppliers, raw material suppliers, legacy manufacturing, or the legacy process, if you will. All of that would be contained within one organization. So you think of the big tier 1 life sciences companies. They will have all of that function within their organization. What's kind of happening, though, and has been happening for the last decade or so, is essentially, it's being broken up. They're de-verticalizing. It's becoming very expensive. I said $2 billion for a new drug. It's becoming very expensive to do this. So we're getting all kinds of new, interesting combinations, new, interesting models of how to bring new therapies and new drugs to market. Everything from contract research kind of organizations that may conduct clinical trials for the what's called the license holder, or the person whose name goes on the box. You've got new arrangements with equipment suppliers. The arrangements can be things like equipment as a service kind of offerings. Obviously raw materials we've got, and probably the biggest one we'll talk a little bit more about today is the whole area of contract manufacturing. Contract manufacturing, there are entire class of companies that just do nothing but contract manufacturing. Some of the majors actually will do contract manufacturing if they have spare capacity even. So, when a drug is made so that's very much, and we're all familiar with the kind of the standard system stack that we see within a given commercial organization. We have the business planning and supply chain kind of processes. That basically talks about money, the as-designed product definition. It's how it's made, where it's made, all of that sort of stuff, as well as the customers that are interested in it. We have got manufacturing, MES type applications. We have order management. We may have also LIMS kinds of things, which sort of involves orders and things of that sort. And then we have control and automation, which talks about assets and temperatures and pressures and operating conditions, et cetera, as well as the as-made product definition. But really, more and more, we're going towards an ecosystem view. So, we've all kind of used to this kind of a world within the four walls of a manufacturing site. But what's happening really is, as you start to evolve, you're seeing more and more partner organizations. Shipping partners, contract manufacturing partners, material supply chain partners, design partners, equipment vendors, services. It's not really on this thing, but potentially regulators as well. Every one of them has different demands on data, right? Everyone has, and they even have their own data models, their own names for the same things, their own identifiers, et cetera. And what we really need from an industry perspective, we definitely see, we are, in some of the conversations I've been having recently, we are starting to, have heard examples of companies that produce a contract, basically place an order with a contract manufacturer, let's say 10,000 units. They will go and they will have that produced. The contract manufacturer will generate reports from their systems in their name, in their nomenclature, from based on the contractual requirements for the product. They'll transmit those reports in PDF form, for example. They will send them over to the license holder, and then at the conclusion of the with the product, basically, and then essentially the contract manufacturing the license holder will then struggle to try to, let's say, reverse engineer the PDF process to get the data back into the form that they can use to do their analysis and their statistical kinds of continuous process improvement and things of that sort. So it's complicated. It's difficult. Some fundamentals will remain in all of these kind of relationships and organizations. Fundamentally, the license holder is responsible for the safety and efficacy of its products, regardless of whether they make it in-house, whether they contract it out, whether they do some combination of that. The acceptance of externally produced products, as well as production records, must be performed by the license holder. The license holder must investigate and respond to all customer complaints. Product genealogy traceability across the supply chains is essential for those investigations. And fundamentally, it may result in recalls, loss of brand reputation, and regulatory action. So from that perspective, they're very much at risk in from a process perspective. So really, what does this mean? As we evolve towards a more connected data universe, we're going to need common industry models. Now, we've attempted this in the past. We think about things like S95, S88. Nomura has weighed in on some of these things as well. Process fundamentally is difficult, requires a significant team effort from all kinds of people, right? LIMS vendors ultimately should own the part of the model that applies to LIMS. And the MES vendor community should own the part that applies to MES. And, ultimately, the equipment vendors should own the equipment model for their pieces of equipment, right? So it's fairly complicated. It's definitely, but it's definitely going to be required, I would suspect, as we go forward towards a more diverse landscape from a life sciences perspective. This is me. If you would like to have additional conversations about some of the connected use cases as they exist in life sciences, please feel free to reach out. And I thank you for your attention.